After being humiliated in court all week, Newt drops a devastating prediction for Mueller. By Amy Moreno for TruthFeedNews.com. Former Speaker of the House Newt Gingrich has a prediction for Team Mueller, and it's not good. Newt believes that Paul Manafort will likely not be charged with the serious charges Mueller is pushing for. Let's take a quick listen here. Good chance Manafort wins at trial, making Mueller look like, I guess, an idiot. He's a traitor.
The president, Mr. Speaker, just tweeted this out. Paul Manafort worked for Ronald Reagan, Bob Dole, and many other highly prominent and respected political leaders. He worked for me for a very short time. Why didn't government tell me that he was under investigation? These old charges have nothing to do with collusion. A hoax. President just tweeted that a few minutes ago, Mr. Speaker.
Look, I think the president has every right to be deeply, deeply frustrated at the failure of his attorney general to exercise leadership. I also note that in the Wall Street Journal this morning, you had a former special agent of the FBI wrote a devastating piece where he suggests pretty directly that Brennan, who was the head of the CIA and is a radical leftist who voted for the Communist Party back in the 70s, Brennan may have actually used the CIA to help set up the FBI to start the whole investigation based on a series of things which we now know increasingly are false. So imagine you're the president. You're looking out here and you're saying, let me get this straight. The FBI lied to the FISA court judge. The CIA may have deliberately set up the FBI. And I got an attorney general who doesn't have the toughness needed to start cleaning out the snake pit. And by the way, notice what the trial's about. They're not going after Manafort for collusion with Russia. They're going after Manafort on things like taxes. This is exactly what independent counsels do. They can't solve the case they were hired for, so they invent a case. And I'll tell you, if Manafort wins this, and there's a good chance he will, I think Mueller is going to look like a fool. And I think the whole country is going to shrug off everything else that Mueller does at that
Let's see if that's the case. He's got another trial right after that, too. You know, win, lose, or draw right now in Virginia. He goes to the D.C. court. You mentioned Jeff Sessions. Here's another tweet from 40 minutes ago. This is a terrible situation, and Attorney General Jeff Sessions should stop this rigged witch hunt right now before it continues to stain our country any further. Bob Mueller is totally conflicted, and his 17 angry Democrats that are doing his dirty work are a disgrace to the USA. What authority what authority right now does Jeff Sessions have if he were so inclined to clean house? Could Sessions end it today?
He's the Attorney General.
But if the president and the president could fire Jeff Sessions, and he's not going to.
Right.
Well, if he's this upset,
because
why not?
He's not going to fire Jeff Sessions because the fix is in Washington, and he would not be able to get anybody approved. The Senate would go crazy. About a third of the Republicans would go crazy. And you'd be back in a kind of Watergate-like environment. So I think President Trump's far better off to endure this, publicly be angry, but endure it. But on the other hand, if Jeff Sessions wanted to, as Attorney General, he has absolute authority to fire the entire Mueller team. And I originally tweeted that I thought Mueller was a very respectable guy. And then I watched him hire these 17 lawyers that Trump is talking about. This is a disgraceful, one-sided witch hunt by a bunch of left-wing Democrats. And it's compounded because we have learned since then about Comey. We've learned since then about the number 2 guy at the FBI. We've learned since then about Strzok. Every time we turn around, we learn more things that indicate that the sickness in the Justice Department and the senior levels of the FBI was very real, and I think should scare everybody. You have the power of the police being that corrupt. You have huge dangers for freedom in America.
Former Speaker of the House Newt Gingrich, great to have you on the program this morning. Please come back.
Glad to be with you.
Thank you, sir.
Well, as you can see, Newt said before he said that to allow this witch hunt to continue, but then he saw Mueller hiring all the Democrats, and you see what takes place, and he's saying now it is corrupt. I mean, it's just so obvious, and he's saying that it's better Trump let it play out, and it proves what kind of disgrace and corruption is taking place here, and Mueller is going to become the disgrace of the nation, as if he isn't already. But you got the liberals touting let Mueller continue. So we're going to let Mueller continue. I'd like to see if Manafort beats this case. I'll tell you one thing. It's going to make Mueller look like a total piece of trash that he is. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And again, thank you so much for watching.